Listen, I love to be motivated. There is nothing more invigorating than seeing people who seemingly led normal lives get over the hump to become these next level successes. Now, the issue with all these stories is that we're only seeing the training sequence. The training sequence is only 1/100th of the actual story. We don't ever see them getting to be consistent, then at that point, consistently going after their goals. A lot of times what you're seeing is people who are already masters of getting work done consistently. So much like getting good at anything, getting good at being consistent is a lifelong project. Blah, 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 the journey is reward, blah, 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 the doing is more important than the outcome. Absolutely, these are cliches. But unfortunately and fortunately, these remain to be true. Why is it necessary to remember this for consistency? Well, it's what I believe to be the biggest hindrance when trying to keep consistency alive. Now, if you're aligning with any of these three things, I'm going to urge you to go back to the drawing board and make sure it's actually what you want and what you're trying to get accomplished in your life. Let's get into it. The external reward is more important than the skills you are building for yourself. Listen, there is tons of things that we do for zero payment at all. Watching sports, Netflix, playing video games, going on vacation. Not only are we usually never getting paid for these things, but we're paying large amounts of money to be able to take part in these activities. I bet that most people as well would argue that this would give them something to look forward to, a moment of peace, something just even to relax to. Now, if the thing you're trying to achieve, the skills you're trying to build, doesn't get into two of these three things, I would argue it's going to be incredibly hard for you to build consistency. Harder than it should be. Not every step of the process has to feel amazing, but you can find peace in doing the things that future you would be proud of you doing today. You could look forward to finally building that skill that you wish you always would do, but just never had the courage to step out and get done. Now, if you don't have that sense of urgency when building your skills, don't worry, there's always hope. With a bit of work, of course. This is where taking a walk, journaling about it, thinking about that life that was never fought for or achieved. How does that actually make you feel? You gotta get conscious about it. This is a vital step. It took me actually taking a full-time job where technically the job was great. Good to his employees, the pay was good with tons of advancement possibilities. And the worst part about this job is that I was pretty good at it. Humble brag, not so humble. But I was still waking up kind of depressed, kind of not happy with my life when technically everything in my life was pretty good except my career and where I was spending most of my time. So my brain was racking finding a solution. Now today, the majority of my time is built on my passion, on my purpose, and the things that I enjoy doing. Now, I'm still so far away from where I'd like to be. There's still tons of things I want to get done, but I do at least feel I have an entry level of success that I'm proud of. And it all took me just getting a bit uncomfortable for a while to find a solution and just work through it. At this point, I'm gonna actually like the video because if this content is actually helpful, it lets me know. Now I can keep creating more things like this to help you out. All right. With more knowledge of what your goals takes, you learn your previous goals don't align with what you truly want. Now, this one took me a while to really grasp and take seriously. When you're building any skill, the more you know, the more you realize how much you didn't know in the beginning. But in the beginning, you made this whole big plan with all these steps about how you're gonna go ahead and achieve your goals, or you might have even disregarded a bunch of steps, not thinking those were important to you. But you must keep yourself available to embrace the ever-changing creative GPS. No matter the traffic, the adjustments, the steps that you're gonna use in your plan always have to serve the destination. So the steps you take daily, you have to make sure that they keep the destination in mind at all times. For example, when I first started making music, I had this crazy idea that learning guitar was one of the best ways to master beat making. Now, what I didn't realize with all the time that I was taking to practice guitar, it was taking away from the songwriting, the mixing, the mastering portions of the song making process. Now, I started to realize that I'm better off paying someone or using tools and samples to get a similar sound because the purpose was to make great songs. Now, I don't need to play guitar to make great songs. As creatives, you have to remember there's not a one-size-fits-all for mastering any skill. Now, we have so many resources today, so many courses, but even with a mentor, there is a certain portion of the journey you're gonna have to walk alone, and you're gonna have to perform your own trial and error. What got you to one level won't always get you to the next. You have to plan to adapt. Nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it. So this is built off what I talked about previously when considering the next steps to take when going after your goal. Either because of life changes or different responsibilities, what has gotten you here to your level of mastery today won't necessarily, I would actually argue, most likely won't get you to the next level. When I started to make music, it would take me months to finish one song. When I started to push the boundaries of what I was capable of, that few months went to a couple of months, went to 1 month, where now I can confidently say that if I want to make a song that is not embarrassing to show the world, I know in a week from start to finish, I can finish a song where I'm proud of it. But for every time I look to improve the speed and the quality of the music making process for myself, it took me breaking down the process of which I made music, taking out things that weren't working, pitting back things that were working, finding new processes entirely to help me get to that next level of mastery. In the same way, a manager can't expect to do the exact same things they did as an entry-level employee to be successful at the role, is the same way that once you get better at your creative and you're building your skills, the mastery will require more from you to continue to build on it. Now, that might be discovering new processes entirely, that might be disregarding the ones you're using currently, or that might be going back to something you used to use in the past that you're no longer using. You must be patiently impatient going after your goals, understanding that even creating the consistency to go after your goals takes consistency, aka just enjoy the journey. Go create, be great.